Boom.
Ring, ring, ring. Hello, Simpson Merchants, and
No.
welcome back to Krown's Match
magical mooncave.
Whoa, what the fuck was that? We did not agree on that introduction. You are very disrespectful today, and get the fuck out of here. With that said, I want to wish everyone the best and the happiest as we get into this nice little day, because there's plenty to discuss all across the lands in cryptocurrency lands, as we do get a nice little set off after our $40,500 target was hit yesterday, and everyone's going crazy now. Is the bull market over? Is that it? Is that it for bulls? Is it done? Is it over for forever? No, I don't think so. In fact, this is quite literally the easy time right now. Anyways, with that said, let's get into the Krown Chain application right now, which can be found at app.krownchain.net. Oh shit, I forgot one thing over here. Let me just bring it all up, because this is a pertinent discussion right now. Where the fuck is it? There it is. I found it right here. And I do want to aware you, there we go. I do want to aware you that actually the liquidity zone with their newsletter is going to be free this week to showcase their FOMC sort of analysis, which is coming in today and tomorrow. So keep an eye on that. We also have an infrastructure big meeting coming up. I believe, I don't know if it's today. I don't think it's today. I think it's tomorrow or Thursday, something like that, which is going to be a big market mover. So check that out. They are the traditional market guys, and they do live streams pretty much every day, actually, on their channel at Liquidity Zone. And like I said, they do have, of course, their own newsletter, which will mostly, or actually only, discuss traditional markets. But as you know, that is very much pertinent to cryptocurrency land as well. Anyways, I wanted to share that with you. Again, free episode this week to discuss the FOMC, which I imagine is going to be a pretty damn big one as well. Anyways, into the Krown Chain application we go. Let me just bring this back on over here so I can look at my chatties. There we go. Lovely. And let's see what we got going on right here. Actually, there's plenty new going on right now. We do see Bitcoin dominance taking a nice leg up to 46.5%. So altcoins are getting soaked up by Bitcoin on this rally. That's actually a good thing. It does support that this rally probably does have a little bit more legs on top of it. And fear and greed index is still within the fearful zone, which is incredibly interesting to me. I'm not necessarily certain how much this is trustworthy, but it would also kind of suggest the same thing, as well as Bitcoin essentially is testing the top side of the daily range here, and the market is rather fearful, which realistically, I mean, we just put in about a 2.5 month long consolidation, similar to the distributed phase at the top side, about $6,000, and Bitcoin's getting its first pop around there. I mean, this is like classic fucking stuff right here, and it's hilarious to kind of read across the Twitter landscape, and we'll obviously discuss that soon enough. But I want to get through the market data tab here, because there's actually a big thing to be aware of right now. Global exchanges net flows, fucking humongous negative outflows right here. So that does imply that people are taking their coins off of exchanges and into their, well, I guess other exchanges, no, into their wallets, presumably so. And this is a humongous read right here. Negative, it's just it's taking away almost 23,000 Bitcoins off the market, which is not small, you might say. Definitely not small, at least in my eyes. We also do see that the global leverage ratio is actually coming down rather aggressively here too, as leverage traders gets kicked off. You guys see that represented in the open interest, which actually did take a big nosedive right there. So people did take profits on that move, which is, to be expected as you do hit the top side of the range. That's good trading. That's good profit taking. That's good just overall planning. What's up, Go Lucky? I see you, man. Your hair's just a bull ransom coming. Perhaps it is, but I'm going to turn off the alerts for right now. What the fuck word? What is no disrespect, sir, but I do need to get through this right now. And for whatever reason, I just have a difficult time focusing whenever I hear a nice little sound. Anyways, global funding rate is actually basically zero right now, which again does still a little bit more support the Bula-ish side here. But this is the first time we've actually seen it go ever so slightly positive for like the past realistically 2.5 months. There's been a few one-offs here and there, but for the majority of the past 2.5 months, we have seen a negative rate. Has been decreasing over time, as you would expect. But basically, shorts have been bleeding on their positions, assuming that they are looking for the big home run shot, which was targets down to 25,000, $20,000, 15,000 I've seen, and even $10,000 as well. I even saw a target down to $6,000, and some guy told me that if he's going to rub it in my face and shit on me if when his $6,000 target is hit. It's like, okay, fair enough. You can also just make the trade, and you don't need to tell anyone else about it. In fact, that's probably the more prudent decision if you actually are so confident of such things. Anyways, with that said, again, I do suspect that is, or it's not that I suspect, I do put that a little bit more in the Bula-ish continuation phase here, because realistically, we would expect to see a positive global funding rate, and that is actually par for the course, more or less. I mean, when things are more or less normal, I suppose, neutral, if you will, it's 0.01% across the board. And so you can even see that we're operating below there right here, right now. On top of that, we did see a lot of leverage shorts getting liquidated yesterday, it looks like, but actually not a whole hell of a lot as you would have expected. as there's been like a lot of speculation across the market that this is like a humongous short squeeze. There was definitely a short squeeze, yes, but as you can see, very few shorts were actually liquidated in comparison to like major moves that we've seen in the past. So this is still just an overall ranging market in my opinion, 30,000 to 45,000 bucks, but that is constructive and that is good for Bitcoin BULAs in my opinion. The longer that Bitcoin stays within that region, the better it is, and I still do think that if Bitcoin BULAs are going to pull through this one, very likely does take another, I don't know, month and a half, probably into September if I had to guess, before any sort of concerted move outside the general range. And of course, that is going to be support, and that is going to be mediated by, well, if the bears do take over, that's going to happen sooner rather than later. But for right now, bulls do have the balls in their court, and bulls do have the big balls right now as well. Anyways, into the fourth data tab we go. Let's see if we got anything new over here. GBTC holding still more or less steady, flat, and we do see that hash rate is slowly climbing up. We do have a bit of a higher low right there, although I don't necessarily know if you can trust trend in this format. It does look like you can, yes, as it has been operating pretty damn well in the past. In fact, and then also the whale ratio did go up rather significantly yesterday to today as well, which is actually a little bit more on the bearish side. Anyways, with that said, I still do, again, look at that as more or less another metric suggesting that we're very likely within a ranging market. I don't think Bitcoin's going to fucking 60,000 today or 100,000 bucks, this month or anything like that. I think it's definitely possible, yes, over time, but, let's really focus down on time frames before we get into crazy talk like that. Anyways, for full disclosure on my testnet account, which is not real fucking money, it is not real money at all whatsoever. I am still holding my longs over here. In fact, I'm looking to add on this down right now if that does kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking for. And goddamn it, Mark B in the Discord is asking me very specific questions like, bro, what do you think's gonna happen right here? It's like, dude, I'm doing a live stream on that exactly right now. You already know this. What the hell? Anyways, I love Mr. Mark, but goddamn it, man, what the fuck is that? Anyways, let's go check out the options expirations as well. I did make a few changes over here. So what I did do is I sold off my puts. Actually was able to do it for a little bit of a profit. Actually, you can see right here my session RPL 0.038 on the last 5 lot of those. So that actually gets multiplied by another, I think, 2 or 3x, because I did have 20. I did have 20 at some point. Actually, no, it's not even shown right there. Geez, I guess they already got settled, so that goes off by the wayside. Anyways, more importantly with that, I did get rid of my long puts, the $32,000 strike. A slight profit on those ones, and now I actually have upside exposure. I'm about 10 deltas long right now. And what's very interesting about this fucking testnet account is that these $36,000 strike calls are technically marking me at a loss, and I literally bought below fucking parity, and these are expiring in September. So they, naturally that is just bad markets right there. Very, very illiquid bullshit. And same thing on these $80,000 strike calls as well. Those are worthless. They are not, or actually I basically got out of all of those as well on yesterday's stream, in fact. But yeah, I'm being marked towards a loss of 0.3 almost right here on my 10 long $36,000 strike calls, which is extremely interesting because that, like I said, I'm basically bought at parity right there, which is fucking hilarious. Anyways, into the price action charts we go, and let's start it off with, or who do we want to start off with today? Who's leading this one off? Let's start it off with CME right here. No, actually, fuck that. Let's start it off right in over here. Bitcoin spot price action on the daily. What did we do that is of specific interest yesterday? 2 things of very, very big specific interest, actually. We did one close above the 55 exponential average for the first time since Bitcoin was above about 55,000 bucks, actually. And on top of that, it's 55 and 55, actually. That's rather strange. Anyways, on top of that, we also did close above the topside Krown band as well. And that is going to be combined with, if I go over to my momentum charts over here, the 3-day, which confirmed last night as a rejection of the bearish control zone for 3-day Stokes, and now heading upwards and onwards, which is more or less good. So those 3 things together is good enough for me to have an upside bias. I do think that this is more or less another basing point right here. We actually did come down exactly to the $36,500 level that we marked off yesterday as a nice little pivot, and I do look at that as likely to grind it out, probably get a few more tests down around there, maybe even 36,000 bucks overall. But as long as Bitcoin's closing, especially above the 55, but even above the especially above the topside Krown band, but even the 55 right here as well, which is 36,000, it's 36.5 and 35.7 respectively. I am looking for this one to essentially try again higher. Now, of course, a lot of this is being borne upon by the Amazon news, right? The good old Amazon news. There was a sort of rumor going on within this market that Amazon's going to accept Bitcoin at the end of the year. And what happens on their earnings report? It looks like that isn't really it's probably, no, they didn't have their earnings report. That was Tesla. Tesla had their own yesterday, which apparently they had like an impairment on it or whatever the fuck. I don't really look too much into that because I'm not trading it and I don't really care, to be honest with you. But the Amazon rumor, I believe, has been denied. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. And again, this is, the sort of hilarity within this market that like a very, very small, rumor can be spun upon by that. But understand, the technicals that have gone along with this. This was, a technically driven rally, at least in my opinion. We had a nice little bear trap right there. Typically what happens on the other side, we're going to run that on the other side. Now, what I want to show you here is something very simple and very similar to what we saw back on over in March, April, May right here. So remember, on this channel, we were actually, or at least I was bullish into this area right here because I'm always going to be bullish on an uptrend. It's never going to change. I'm never going to get the high. I'm never going to get the low. Ever. I can obviously identify trappy areas, but that is just my sort of disposition as a trader. But the big first major key in this when it was switching around was when we got this lower low right here, right at about $50,000 or $49,000 after having this nice little very lovely daily uptrend. And then we said, hey, this is a change of behavior. If we see any sort of a lower high, then that is the time to be looking for, well, a reversal in this case. And what do you know? We got our lower high actually right at, I believe it was right around the 618 and the 786 Fibonacci retracement right here. I believe if I do this on a closing basis, it was the 618. Yes, indeed it was. Actually, it's actually just below the 786 right there. So close enough in this case. And that is essentially what I'm looking at right here. So we did get a lower low right here. That's very similar to your high right here. And then now Bitcoin is popping back up. We've already tested around the prior June highs, which was our target from yesterday at about 40,500-ish region. And what happens after that? Well, you would expect Bitcoin to maybe trade a little bit of sideways, maybe try another move back around the blue box, but ultimately now we are on higher low watch. If we see a higher low after a high is confirmed, then that is going to be my confirmation that Bitcoin very likely makes a move into the $40,000 territory, a concerted move into the $40,000 territory with targets up probably somewhere between about $45,000 to $48,000. Now, I still have big reservations with that area, of course. That is going to be your former CME gap coming in from 14th of May right here. And then I believe it's also the 618 Fibonacci retracement for this whole structure right here as well. Let me just double check on this. What do you know? Yes, right smack dab right there at about $47,000, the top side of that blue box as I have it marked off right there. So that would be a nice, bull trappy-ish area. However, again, I'm not necessarily calling like a full-on meltdown of this market after that. It's just as absurd as the people who down around here and over here were saying, hey, Bitcoin's going to 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, or I probably did that backwards, but you get my point. It's going to be just as ridiculous over here. People are going to start talking about, guys, we're going to fucking $50,000, or that's actually not bullish enough. We're going to $60,000, boys. No, we're going to $100,000, boys. No, we're going to $250,000, boys, and I can finally pay my goddamn rent. Well, at that point, you're going to see the same fucking thing on the exact same side, in my opinion. I think it's incredibly likely. I think it's extremely likely. You see this sort of exuberant irrationality on both sides. So just like to be honest, the perma bears over here were like very loud and annoying, and you're going to get the same thing over here with the perma bulls. You're going to get the exact same fucking thing. They're going to be like, oh, you didn't buy the dip. You're stupid. It's like, okay, or maybe just make your fucking trade and shut the fuck up, because that's all you get paid for anyways if you're not a goddamn clout chasing Twitter anon account. But sorry, apologies on that one. That was mean. Anyways, more importantly, we also did see that CME also confirmed above the topside Toronto band for the first time in months here as well, and we did close above the 55 as well too. So what I want to see for continuation on this rally, probably not today, but over the next few days, would be a closure above this level. And just not breaking back down below about $36,000 on a daily total closure. I wouldn't necessarily look at the lower term timeframes right now, just because they're going to be very sloppy, very floaty, very flighty, and a little bit more difficult because we're really looking at the culmination of about a 2.5 month long consolidation. So do you think that a 2.5 month long consolidation is going to be accurately represented on like an hourly or 4 hour? No, not really. Although they are very much tradable. Don't get me wrong on that. But we're talking about big moves here, so we really want to employ the higher term timeframes. In this case, daily, 2 day, 3 day. Maybe even up to a weekly, of which I should remind myself the weekly is going to have a chance, or no, it's already crossing the upside on our weekly Stokes with any sort of a closure this week at Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, but about 33,700. Now, of course, CME will close before that, and guess what? It's even lower than that level, 32,200, and it will close on Friday actually. So all of this to me does look pretty damn good for a nice little continuation of bounce probably over the next week or two. And of course, we did get this nice little fake out on daily for CME as well. This happened obviously yesterday. yesterday. Yesterday that is, or was it the day before? No, it was yesterday in this case, and we did see that Bitcoin it kind of had that bait and switch of the 55 and the 200 right here, which I absolutely love. I love playing these sort of these sort of fake outs because it's just classic shit. Again, your bear trap right here, gap up on Monday, boom, close above both major moving averages. You no longer have a death cross. You no longer have a death cross that is available to you. I mean, it wasn't even really that close to each other to begin with, but that sort of bait and switch is typically a good signal that we're going to run the other way. Again, I'm not calling like a full-on reversal here. I'm not saying that Bitcoin's going to 60,000 bucks. No, that's ridiculous. Let's just be a little bit more subdued in our expectations. But overall, I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin carry on with this rally from this region right here after a little bit of a short-term sideways consolidation. So at this point, we could go down into the lower-term timeframes with those sort of proclivities in mind. And what we can say on the 4-hour right here, if we put on, oh, whoa, we got a 4-hour golden cross. Holy shit, it's moon time. Wait, when was the last time we actually had a 4-hour golden cross? It's probably been some time. Looks like we had a good fake out over here, although that one did actually get a decent enough play. Let's see what it was on a percentage base, even though this one did ultimately, 7.5% move to the upside before ultimately breaking down. Here's just like a quick little, I wouldn't say cheat code, but just like a quick little way to kind of make if you are going to play moving average crosses, which most people do it wrong, which is why it becomes a fucking meme, as does goddamn everything, which is unfortunate because actually are pretty damn powerful. But typically speaking, after being in like a particular crossing formation like this, in this case, a death cross, basically the lower period trading below the higher period, the 55 and 200, for a long time, typically speaking, the first cross will fail. And it's a second cross that happens after that is typically the really, really good one, the one that actually does lead up for like a general move. And so for right now, could we get some general continuation on top of this? Yes, absolutely. Maybe over the next few days, after a bit of sideways within this region right here, assuming that we do not lose 36,000 bucks specifically. That's my criteria for that. And then I'd probably be looking for whatever rally happens into the $40,000 to fail. And then we actually probably line up for like a really, really good one. If this is going to turn out to be bullish, which I'm still very much split, or it's not that I'm split on. I'm open to both ways. I mean, this is neutral right now. Bitcoin is still within a downtrend for all things considered. I mean, we did put in a lower low right here. We're just looking at this now as, we quite literally tested around the prior high. So you're probably, if you test around your prior high, you're not making lower highs by fucking definition. Or if you're looking at it even from this structure right here, you already took out the prior highs. So what we're doing right now is first things first, looking for a higher low because that would confirm a reversal. Or if we just smash all the way down, then hey, this was more wrecked than I thought, and that is just hilariously wrong. But I don't think that's what's happening right here. Although there's always a possibility of that. But what we should do right now is again go back down to the lower term timeframes on the 4-hour right here. And what do you know? This blue box tested actually perfectly on that last little move to the downside. Not necessarily a little move. It was found about a $4,000 move from 40,500 all the way down to 36.5. But that is to be expected on these sort of volatile moves. I mean, Bitcoin's a hell of a drug, man. Bitcoin's a hell of a fucking drug. But what I'd be saying right now is I'd be essentially looking for a short-term range between about 36,000 bucks and let's just call it 38,000 bucks the upside right here. Probably trade sideways. I'd imagine for most of today, if this is going to, continue onwards and upwards, and then we see continuation probably tomorrow if that's going to happen. Now, of course, like I said, this, there always needs to be a plan for the other side if that does indeed fail. And what would my plan be? Well, again, if we do close below about 36,000 bucks, I would look for this to come at the very least down to about 34.5, probably even make a move towards CME gap at that point too, which is actually all the way down to about low 33,000 buck territory right now. Again, I don't necessarily think that that's happening, but that would be my sort of criteria for that. And yes, we can get wicks below. That's completely fine. That is to be expected even in some cases as well. But overall, I would be looking at that as, very likely an opportunity, at least on the first pass. You've seen my testnet positions, and that's basically how I'd be trading it right now anyways, regardless of that, which is already, it's already kind of printed its profits anyways. So, anyways, okay, what else do we want to talk about before we move on? Should we get on over here? Should we talk about the time fib? Let's talk about the time fib. Here's the real analysis. Moon phases. We got a bull moon. All right, it's going up and it's never coming back down. No, just kidding. The witches, they apparently know some. They've been calling this one pretty damn well. So fair enough. Got to give credit where credit is due. And I suppose if you are a believer in astrology, which I am, I don't know if I am or not, but I'm a believer in results, and these results are pretty fucking good, which is kind of embarrassing for someone who spends their life, learning how to trade and doing it as a living, and then just out traded by goddamn moon cycles. That's hilarious. But more importantly with this, you know, I still don't think that this is like necessarily over. So I do think that we get general continuation from here. And does that play with the moon cycles? Maybe yes. But if you are looking at this from a Fibonacci time extension perspective, you know, you can see that we actually do see all of these levels lining up with pivots from our October breakout to our February highs right here. Got this high, 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 got this low. So perhaps now we're seeing a bit of a switch up on this here. So the next one is coming in actually late August. It looks like August 20th, if you want to be exact. So perhaps keep that date on your calendar, and let's see if it works once again. That would be actually relatively interesting, or at least very interesting to myself, as we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 basically work as big pivots on the market. I mean, very tradable pivots as well. So it doesn't necessarily tell you whether it's going to be up or down, although what was it, like 5 of those 6 were to the downside. This last one obviously very much to the upside, as you can see. Anyways, what else do we want to look at right now? Is there anything on momentum oscillators on the very low term time frames? We potentially do have hidden bullish evidence forming right here. We have significantly lower lows on RSI. We're still in the bullish control zone right here, and as you can see on price action, we have significantly higher lows as it is right now, but this is not a confirmed local low. Again, I do think that short-term time frames, very likely Bitcoin trades sideways between about 36,000 and 38,000 bucks. If Bitcoin starts to close above 38,000 bucks, I wouldn't necessarily look for like a massive just blow off move back above our current highs right here. I would still be looking for Bitcoin to kind of, you know, stair step its way up from this region, and then your big breakout's very likely going to be either on a tick above yesterday's high, which is 40,540.5 on BitMexico, or a closing high above whatever this blue box territory is right here, which actually is basically the same level anyway. So technically speaking, if you want to be more conservative, you wait for closure. If you want to be more aggressive, you wait for the wick. In this case, you know, I mean, you can go either way on this one. Of course, you know, being more aggressive does include more risk if it's going to be wrong, obviously, and there's more probability for it to be wrong. And then if you do use a closure, then, you know, vice versa for that. So you trade off potential profits for a little bit more certainty. Not that there's ever such thing as certainty within trading, but at the end of the day, you know, you can kind of see what that interplay is. Anyways, go check out 4-hour Jewel is actually showing a little bit of downside right now. So that should be considered. But again, I would still use 36,000 bucks as a backstop. I don't really care about any price action between 36 and 38 as far as the general trend goes. 12-hour, what do we see? Actually, a rejection by the 200, which is not great, which, hold on. Wait a second. What? How? Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. I guess I'm getting this chart confused with CME right here. Or also, and probably even a more powerful signal, at least to myself, would be a daily closure above the 200 exponential average right here, which is about 38,500-ish region. If one of those 3 things happens, I'd generally be looking for Bitcoin to make that next leg up into the $40,000 territory. There will be areas of interest in the $40,000 territory as well on the way up. We got this one right here at about, actually that's a 45.5 level, and then we got the one just above that about 49,000 bucks. As you saw on CME, that was about the same as well, in line with the 618 Fibonacci retracement on a bearish retracement, that is, which is typically going to be, you know, a nice pullback area, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish. And then there's also like your big gap coming in from your big fucking gap, coming in from May as well. Anyways, with that said, you know, I do think that again, this is to be considered a healthy consolidation first and foremost right here. We do see on 4-hour BBWP, our volatility based indicator, we did hit 100 percentile actually on that move. So what is to be expected after that? At least sideways, as it does kind of cool off a bit and contract into a little bit of a consolidation. And first and foremost, you know, I run with the trend on that time frame, and of course on the 4-hour, it is quite literally an uptrend, and so that can obviously start to spill into our higher term time frame. So I do think that the setup is there. It's just going to take a little bit of waiting here, and, you know, probably into like August if I had to guess. Anyways, let's do the daily perusal of the hash ribbons indicator. Are we printing a blue buy signal? Probably not. Are we converging on each other? Ever so slightly. Another pixel of convergence. So perhaps we do see a little bit on top of that. MJ Works Easy says, when troll Nicholas Martins, aka Data Derp again. It's probably not too wise to be trolling people. It's kind of a waste of time, and he's probably like a fine guy anyways, man. Like, I feel like when I make fun of someone, someone like that, people think that like I actually dislike them or something. It's like, no, man, just poking a little bit of fun, and it's probably not in too good of taste, because, well, when people do it to me, it's like, yeah, it's kind of annoying sometimes too. So, you know, maybe I shouldn't, but it is a little bit fun sometimes too. Anyways, yeah, looking at the blue ribbons, Sir, fuck off. Anyways, looking at the, sorry, I love you, sir. Anyways, looking at the hash rate indicator over here, we do see a slight amount of convergence, although it's still very far away. I will not be calling any macro continuation at all above 65,000 bucks, or a macro low in that case as well, until we get a blue buy signal. And if you want if you want another way to be looking at this, is not just confirm a macro low, but like I just said right there, is that dude.
What's up, everyone? This is Nicholas Martins here from Data Dash TV, and today we have a green dildo, and now my fleshlight is once again ruined. My lazy fucking mom didn't clean it again.
Voice cracked right there too. Anyways, okay, so yeah, what the fuck was I talking about? Jesus Christ, you got me to do it, you bastards. Giving in to peer pressure is not good, man. I deserve to be lashed after that one. I apologize. No disrespect to Mr. Nicholas Martins over there. He's no longer a child. We can focus on, there's a fucking teen executive. Yeah, let's pick on him, man. He's big enough now. What is teen executive? Is he old enough to masturbate? I don't know. I think he's like 12. I didn't find out about masturbation until I was like 13 or 14 because my parents didn't teach me and I went to a Catholic school actually. And so when I first found out about it, I thought I was dying. And this is a real story, man. I thought that I was the first person to discover it, and then I told all my friends, and they're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, man, very weird upbringing, in fact. Anyways, yes, okay, so where the fuck was I? Yes, that's right, we need a blue ribbons, we need a hash ribbons blue buy indicator, but not just for a macro low, but also we've never seen new all-time highs printed after having a massive sell-off from the capitulation signal before a blue buy signal has actually been printed after that, in fact. So with that in mind, I think that would be very well prudent to say that this is, unlikely to even test around the per hour time highs like 60,000 bucks anytime soon. I mean, you can see that this is going to take, probably a very long time. It's moving at a snail's pace right here, assuming that does still hold true, which has actually been true on all 11 of 11 iterations. Now, the other side of that would be just printing a macro low, which has been true on all 10 of 11 iterations. So, fair enough. I do think that adds another dynamic to it that I backtested right here. And realistically, I do think that Bitcoin, is going to spend a lot of time. If this literally is bullish, which I do think that Boolaws have a decent case right here, it's very likely to take a long time. So I don't want to get ahead of myself right now. I think that this is going to be, waiting. It's going to be a lot of waiting within this market. Anyways, do we want to talk about anything else before we get into the comments, or is it time? Let's see. Okay, let's see right here. All right, let's turn the alerts on. And maybe we talk about, do we want to talk about traditional markets really quickly? Yeah, let's do that actually. Let's talk about traditional markets. We got NASDAQ right here making new all-time highs, exactly as predicted. No, I fucking hate that shit. I really despise that kind of talk. It's just not real trading. But would I be looking for new all-time highs from here? Very likely over the rest of the week. However, this is going to coincide with both the FOMC meeting today, which I believe it's tomorrow. Jay Powell is going to very likely pump the markets as he always does. He's been extremely good at that, and I'm pretty much convinced that as long as he's in power, as long as his sort of as long as he's like the Fed chairman, we're not going to see any like actual real concerted and sustained downside movements. I sincerely think that. And realistically, if you want to analyze the stock market in the most easy way, and I truly believe this right now, I do think it's this simple. If you see the Fed balance sheet expanding, the stock market's still going up. I mean, it's just they're not fucking tapering, man. They might talk about tapering, but tapering to them means like instead of buying like 80 billion, we buy 60 billion. It's like it's still a lot, like a shit ton, and it's not going to go away anytime soon, at least in my opinion. Now, a big catalyst, however, that is coming this week, I believe, is the vote on the infrastructure deal. That could have a major implication, mostly with something like Dow Jones, and in the industrial sector, obviously. But the market does play with each other, and I imagine that probably would affect the broad market as well, like Nasdaq, like SPY as well. Anyways, with that said, does it look like it wants a little bit of a short-term pullback here? I mean, it's still just an uptrend here, even on a fucking hourly. I wouldn't mind a pullback to 15,000 bucks, but overall, I'd still be looking further north. again, keep those catalysts in mind, because those actually really do matter. Like, those are real fundamental drivers, and they're going to matter more than technical analysis at this point. Absolutely. But for right now, you know, TA basically supports that as well. Just says Mark's pricing in more up, more uppity up. Anyways, SPY, same thing over here, basically more or less the same chart. I'd be saying the same things on it as well. I mean, there's nothing really, you know, bearish about a weekly that looks like this or this. Here's what, no, not Nifty, but what Dow Jones looks like over here. Yeah, it does look like we actually got a breakout as of last week. So I do think that this one very likely continues onwards and upwards from here as well. It looks like this is being priced in as, you know, as deal being made. So that is more or less good. Funnily enough, the Dow Jones price gets me a little bit confused with Bitcoin, because it actually is so close. Anyways, looking at the daily right here, you know, it doesn't really look like a breakout on the daily, actually. Yeah, I'm not a humongous fan of these broadening wedges, although they do seem to work decently well in traditional markets. Daily RSI, neutral to slightly bullish. What about short-term timeframes? Short-term timeframes just kind of keeping on with the stair step to the upside. I wouldn't mind a slight pullback right here, but keep in mind those events, because they are going to drive this market. We also have several earnings reports, I believe, coming in today. Actually, I'm not sure if Microsoft is today. I know that Microsoft, Apple, and maybe a couple of the other big ones are happening this week, and it might actually be today as well. So keep in mind that's going to, you know, there's going to be so much shit going on this week. This is going to be a very, 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 very busy week. So again, keep in mind where the risk is right now. Again, below 36,000 bucks, this idea does start to fall apart, and I would be looking for a retest somewhere back down around about 34,000 bucks before the next sort of bounce, and then, you know, we'll come back after that. But for now, I'll just be looking for sideways here. That is more or less constructive, more or less good, and, you know, probably upside tries again, maybe later this week or next week, something like that. Anyways, let me go into digital media. Dude says Hex for the win. Is Hex still doing well? Let's go check it out. How is Hex doing right now? I do want to check it out. Let's see how it's. No, motherfucker. It went down. I want my H card refunds right now. He promised me. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Yeah, man. I you know, all jokes aside, I mean, it is still a general macro uptrend here, but pullback very likely to like 10, 11 cents first before the next sort of general bounce, and then we'll see it from there. It's unwise to call like a full-on reversal just yet. The only way that I call a full-on reversal is actually below last week's low, and that actually would look extremely bad for this one. But for right now, just short-term sideways and down. And yeah, I mean, this is distribution right here. That is a rolling hills right there. Not good, but you know, hopefully the Hexicans don't hate me for that. Hey man, I was bullish on the way up. I'll just say that. I do want to say that. Anyways, see what we got over here. Elsa's got the chatties already, so let's get it on right here. Let's see if Keegan Radcliffe says, I don't stop by often, but hey, thanks man. I appreciate that. Have a good stream. Very much appreciative of that. That's very kind, and massive thank you, man. I don't know what else to say, but I have a smile on my face now. Scott Barney, there he is. ALYI accumulation cylinder. God fucking damn it, for the love of God. Currently on wave, what is a wave 7? Are you trolling me now? Accumulation cylinder was discovered by the best trader of all time. Never heard of it. Who is the best trader of all time? I don't know. How do you even judge the best trader of all time? Look, man. If cylinder is like a clickbait way of saying that you have a sideways range, I would agree. I would agree with that. It does look a little bit nasty right here, as it does test the downside of the range once again. Daily closure below about 3 cents would be kind of nasty, but until that happens, man, I still think that this one chugs its way along sideways, not doing anything of particular interest for a long time, in my opinion. This one's going to take months of going sideways here. I have nothing new to say about that, sir. I don't know what the fucking cylinder is, but if it's a sideways range, sure, yeah, it is a sideways range. And first interpretation of that would be bullish, again, as long as we just don't break the low structure. Anyways, let's see. Legend Ali says, long NUE, is it ready to go to 110 and above? I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Yeah, it looks pretty good here. 111 and beyond. I do think it's ready for a move back to above 100, like 103, 104 region. I don't know if I'd call a full-on move to 111 just yet. Looking at the daily, yes. This is looking pretty damn good here. It is looking very, very good. Very similar to Bitcoin, actually. Different structure, different stature, but overall pretty damn good. Daily RSI kind of speaks volume on this one. I'd be looking for it to give a nice pump up into the bullish control zone right there on expanding volatility. Very, very good signature right there. I would be looking for a move, yeah, about 103.5, probably a little bit of a pullback right there. And then does a test around the prior high? Perhaps yes. I mean, this is, you know, more or less a bullish chart, so... Yeah, Pablo South hasn't asked about this one for a long time, but we did get that move down to about, 85, 86, retest the prior breakout region. One's taken a long time, but I'd still be more or less good on it long term. Don't really see anything too concerning about this, especially as long as above about 84. No major issues there from my side, at least. Hey, what's up, Michael Crooks? Hey, Krown. Check IG stock. Okay. IG. Okay. iGate Pharmaceuticals. All right. Whoa! Shitcoin of a stock. Holy goddamn moly. This is disgusting. What the fuck? Gap like crazy in after hours. I want to short it, break 740. Okay, so you're saying it's going to open up at 740. Yeah, that I actually do like that. Of course, this is not financial advice, but you'd basically be shorting the lower highs right here, and that's typically what these sort of things do. And it's probably good enough for a trade anyways. Like, it doesn't sound like you're gonna hold this short for forever, and I probably wouldn't hold this short for forever. But you probably have a pretty damn easy trade back down to, like, I don't know, $5 or $6. Wouldn't be asking for too much right there. Anyways, saying I want to short if it breaks 740, short at 735, stop out if it goes way at 750. Well, where's your risk in this trade? Your risk is this prior high right here. If it takes out that high, then you got a new trend going on. So I actually would say, well, that basically is about 750 or so. Yeah, fair enough. You might get a wick above there. In fact, a lot of the time you will in these sorts of cases, because it is a bit of a trap situation, but I would actually be interested in that one for a trade. Of course, it's not financial advice, so as you know. Spencer Smith says CVC did like 30% today or more. Is this a stock or crypto? I know that this is actually crypto, but let's see. Maybe you're talking about this thing right here. No, you're not talking about this thing, because that did not do a 30% move, although it is looking rather constructive right there. Maybe you're talking about Civic. Oh my God, is this thing still around? Yeah, it is still around. Holy shit. I happen to know that this is, this is definitely a shitcoin right here. This one did not join the rest of the market in taking out its 2017, 2018 highs. That means that it's relatively weak, but, a pretty damn good move here nonetheless, and very likely does get continuation, probably around 40 cents or so. And I'd be looking for a pullback there. Is this a macro low? It actually looks pretty fucking good. It actually looks very, very good on the weekly here. Daily, same thing. I just need to see a daily close above the 200, about 30 cents. And yeah, I'd be looking for a move towards about 39, 40 cents. Maybe more continuation on top of that. Let's see. Trading Solutions says 1 week ago, I got scammed from an exchange called X Rates. They stole 30,000. What the fuck? And what the hell? Hold on. Can't you like call up the cops? 1 week ago, I got scammed from an exchange called X Rates. I want to look this one up. What the fuck is this? I've actually been hearing more and more exchanges have been scamming rates. Okay, it's called X Rates. Let's if I can actually find this one. Let's see. Does it look like a scam? I just want to see. I'm going to bring it up into the. Yeah, this looks like I mean, it actually has a pretty damn good presentation, but never heard of it. Never seen anything from it. Apparently, they do 52 million in volume. Yeah, not really where you want to be putting your money. Anyways, let me get back onto the thingy over here. Okay, hold on. Let's read this thoroughly. Okay, Trading Solutions says 1 week ago I got scammed from an exchange called X Rates. They stole 30,000 and don't let customers withdraw funds. They're a shady exchange. Is there anything I can do? Also, don't deposit to X Rates. Yeah, man. I'm really sorry to hear that. I know that it's not a fun situation to deal with, and you're not the first person to tell me that, like, they've had a bad experience with an exchange. Actually, someone the other day emailed us, letting us know that they actually reserve judgment right now, but they actually responded to one of the scammer comments, I believe on my channel, actually, like the scam bots who say, like, contact Hacker G on WhatsApp for this and that. Anyways, is there anything that you can do? Well, an exchange like this, like, you should be able to find out where they're domiciled, although it's probably not in a first world country, if I had to guess. And then maybe you could call up the local authorities. Something like that might work. Other than that, I don't know. And to be honest with you, I don't think that that's going to have too much of a result unless if it is in like a first world country. But maybe just letting the authorities know, maybe they go after them at some point, and then you're able to get your money back. I have no idea, but I do sympathize with your situation. It's not fucking fun to deal with, but this is just another friendly reminder to everyone out there. Make sure you do your research before going on to exchange. I don't know if I've never heard of that one, so if you haven't heard of it, it's usually a bad sign. And realistically, like, the days of the wild west trading exchanges for cryptocurrency land are, in my opinion, very much numbered. I mean, I think we're seeing that already, and it would be rather prudent, at least in my opinion, and what I am doing myself, is to just wait for Bitcoin futures and options to be offered up on traditional U.S. exchanges. Now, of course, CME already offers that, but I want to see like mini contracts as well, because otherwise it's just gonna be a fucking hassle with margin and shit like that. Crypto Frad says, didn't cover a coin option track for a while now. Yeah, we're not talking about it right now because there are more pertinent things and the time is limited, sir. Super Googly says, hello, sir. What's up, man? Hope the weather is fine. It's actually pretty fucking hot here, man. I was sweating all night last night. And it's like I have AC, I have a fan. They're all pointed directly at me. Still doesn't work, man. Still doesn't fucking work. But I just sweat very easily. Anyways, he said I shorted HSI, Hang Seng Index, from 28,000 profit target to 24, too aggressive. I do believe you looked at it yesterday, and I said 25,000 bucks would be my target. Looks like we're almost there, but would I be looking for 24? I mean, I do think that you will eventually get down to 24,000 bucks, probably very likely, but I would also be expecting to bounce somewhere around 25 first. So maybe you take a little bit of profit, partial profits, and you can always re-add later if you really, really want. But you know, this one's been beat up pretty damn bad. I don't think it's wise to get too greedy on these things. That's just my personal opinion. Like there's a lot of money in your hand right now. You shorted the breakdown right here. Like this is perfect trading. I got to give you a lot of respect. Who was this? This is Super Googly, and he basically shorted the retest after a breakdown on this distributive structure right here. I mean, that's like, you traded this one to the fucking T as well as anyone could. Amazing, fucking amazing. And then immediately gap down and then continuation. I mean, this is a real breakdown, but I would be looking for a bounce somewhere like just at or below 25,000 bucks. So that's something to consider. You know, you made a great trade. I always feel better taking profits, but that's just me. Kevin fucking one says, I came for the TA, stay for the comedy. Lol. Looking at my position, KSM, BTC, KuCoin daily. Okay. Kusama, like the very friendly and not terrorist cryptocurrency over here. Looks like shit, man. Looks like shit. It's terrorizing your PNL, it seems like. Anyways, looking at piece of shit, KSMBC, KuCoin daily. Can I trade this bullish divergence? No, this is not bullish divergence, sir. Bullish divergence happened over here, and this one is so fucking weak. It wouldn't even been a tradable bullish divergence, in my opinion. All of these moves are just getting sold into, and this one's not even joining in on the upside rallies. This is not, in my opinion, what you want to be in at all. The only way that I'd even be looking for like a medium-term upside move is if you traded above this last little rejection right here at about 5430, 5500 or so. Above there, I would be looking for, you know, probably move back up to like 6,000, but this is not the one to be in right now, man. This looks like absolute dog shit. No, and there's not in any way, shape, or form bullish divergence on this as of right now. You need to see a confirmed local low. So this is what a lot of people get wrong about divergence trading. And again, another thing that like I think is rather powerful. In fact, divergence is something that I pay a lot of attention to and I have a lot of success with. But the problem is that people make it into a goddamn meme because they look at like any time that price action, in this case, is making a lower low and RSI is currently making a higher low, that's going to be a divergence play. It's not. I mean, there's nothing at all whatsoever resembling a low right here. And if there's nothing at all whatsoever resembling a fucking low right there, you by definition cannot have a divergence play. And that's what people get wrong about it, because you're just going to end up buying every downside move from this one from here on out. And this one's in a downtrend. It looks like absolute dog shit. This one, I wouldn't be surprised to see come back down below 4,000 actually. Weekly's kind of in a bouncy area too. I mean, how much more does it get beat up? I don't know, but it's very concerning that it hasn't joined in on any of the fun rallies as of recently, and that would be my criteria for this one. 5,400, as long as it's below there, heavily fucking bearish, just lower highs the whole way through. Okay, let's see. Shane T says BTT, Bit Digital, daily and weekly. BTT is BitTorrent. Oh, Bit Digital. Let's see. Can I find it? I see just BitTorrent, Bit Digital. Okay. Nothing's coming up, man. Hold on. Let me see that I got this right. Bit Digital. Okay, I'll try to like actually. Oh, is this it? Oh, here we go. All right, this is it. Are you sure? It traded. I don't think I've ever looked at. I'm guessing this is Mexican markets. Is this Mexican markets? I've never looked at Mexican markets ever. I don't fucking know. A humble amount of I don't know. What? Yeah, it is Shane. Oh, BT. Okay, gotcha. BT. All right, Bit Digital. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we can get onto a nice exchange. Wow, powerful move. I'm guessing this is in some way related to blockchain technology. It's a fucking pump and dump, man. It's a shitcoin of a stock, but does this get continuation on top of this? Very likely, yes. I'll be looking for a short-term move back down somewhere around like 760, 770-ish region, and then probably try to bounce from there over the rest of the week. I mean, this very likely is a low right here. Probably does work its way up to like, 12, 13 bucks over the next few weeks, maybe even a month. But this is a pump and dump, man. So be aware of what you're getting into. Like anytime you see something like this is what a pump and dump looks like. Pumps up out of nowhere, dumps down like out of nowhere as well. As soon as the pump, happens. Same thing over here, even more aggressively. I mean, this is, you play with fire at that point. But hey, everyone's free to do as they please, and fair enough. Just be aware. Wendell Lambo, Wendell Lambo. That is a great name. I hope that's your real name, although I suspect it might not be. But no message given. But thank you for that anyways, man. Cole Evans says, hey, Krown. Hello, Cole. I will take the usual, sir. All right. Cardano USD Binance. It's a pullback done. Upside. Again, I think that Bitcoin and probably Ethereum are like the easier ones to judge direction right now. But we can look at Cardano. Why the hell not? And one of the stronger ones, I suppose. This one would really... this one's concerning to me, man, on the lower term time frames. That just looks like another lower high. Yeah, daily, it's certainly not joining as much. Gave up the significant majority of its rally. I mean, look at this, man. It traveled up almost 30% on that day, closed only up about 9.5, 8 or 8.5 to 9% on the day. I do think it's going to get another rally back up to about 133 or so. But man, the lower term time frames look like absolute dog shit. This just looks like another lower high. I mean, this looks very, very bad. If I was just looking at Cardano, judging the rest of the market, I'd be saying this is obviously another bull trap right here, and we're coming back down to like 115, 116. Again, I think that Bitcoin's going to matter more, and Ethereum's going to matter more for direction. But you can see that this one's not falling as much. So it's I wouldn't say that it's relatively weak nor relatively strong. It's kind of par for the course, but I really don't like that rejection looking move on the short-term timeframes. Yeah, weekly looks like absolute dog shit here too, man. That looks really fucking bad. That looks really fucking bad, actually. That would really make me consider that we actually are seeing a bull trap right now, and it's not going to happen in the mid 40s. Definitely possible. Definitely possible. If I'm just going like this, that's exactly what I would think, actually. Kind of nasty, man. Kind of nasty, sir. Okay, let's see what else we got. Zane Storm says, hey mate, can you check out Ethereum? Yes, we can check out Ethereum. Shout out to Gabriella. Shout out to Gabriella, wherever you are in this world. Sounds like a lady, which is nice. Elsa likes that too. All right, let's see what we got on Ethereum over here. And preferably just one per, because we do have a lot of people today. Yeah, I mean, it does look pretty nasty right there with that massive wick to the upside. However, closing above the 55 in my book is not immediately bearish. I do think that this one does trade sideways, similar to Bitcoin. Might have another downside move to like 2100 or so, but I'd be using that as a basing point. In fact, let's just mark this area off. This is what I'd be looking for on the short-term time frames, actually right around here. Yes, actually, I wonder what this is coming in from. Maybe the daily, if I had to guess. Yeah, it's coming in from the last daily breakdown level right there. So that's actually that does show that we probably, if this one does want to continue upwards and always probably does base out right here. I don't necessarily think that it's like ready today, but I'd give it the benefit of the doubt right now. The reason why I'd give it the benefit of the doubt is because you actually did trade above your last sort of weekly highs right here after a bullish engulfing dildo. So I do think that this one, is a little bit too early to kind of analyze on a weekly right here. I treat it as a continuation move after a short-term sideways consolidation first and foremost, and I'd be using this as my basing point, 2100 once again on a 4-hour closure. Below there, it'd be the same thing as Cardano, right? I'd be looking at this as just another. Is this a lower high on the 4-hour? Yeah, it is. And very likely move back down to about 1900. Probably just coughs up the whole goddamn rally. But I do think that Bitcoin leads this move. I do think that Bitcoin is showing a bit of a different picture, but we can see across the lands that most altcoins are not following as much, and I suspect that the Bitcoin dominance must be in the process of completing that last higher low. In fact, let's go check it out right now. Yeah, it is. Oh, look at this, man. Bitcoin dominance rising like the fucking phoenix, rising like a goddamn cobra. Powerful, man. Yeah, I stick with what I've been saying here. I'm looking for this to go over 50% over the next, I don't know, month or two, and probably even above there over time. So most altcoins are not going to benefit as much on this rally, but that's actually a good signal. That's actually a good signal of health within the market. You want to see Bitcoin lead the upside moves, and then altcoins kind of do it later. That's typically what we see. Like the old saying is, the junk rallies last. Not saying that Ethereum is junk, but it goes Bitcoin, then Ethereum, then various other tiers of shittier and shittier coins, right? So that's what I'd say about that, man. But if we're just looking at Ethereum, I would actually have more reservations with this one, but I'd still use 2100 as a basing point. As long as you're above there on a 4-hour total closure, I do look for this one to kind of join Bitcoin. Next major area to be aware of is, again, this sort of lower, this last high right here, right around about 2320 or so. And, you know, seeing as we already did kind of take it out on the weekly, I do suspect that this one probably does rally up over time towards this last level right here, about 2600. But again, that's going to really depend on Bitcoin, whether Bitcoin takes another leg up or not. Okay, cool. King Cosmic says, hi, SPY, 1 hour and daily. Okay, we can do that. I think 1 hour, again, I do want to be very cognizant of the events going on within the market today. We have an infrastructure deal being decided upon, and then FOMC meeting, which, you know, pretty big catalysts, and also a lot of earnings reports as well. Keep that in mind. If I'm looking at the hourly right here, I'll tell you what you already know. It's an uptrend, but in these times, I don't think that technical analysis is a very good edge. If I was using technical analysis, it is suggesting more upside. We've kind of already got new all-time highs this week already, so that, you know, the easy call right there has pretty much already been had. If this one does want to come down, I'd be looking somewhere around 4360, 4370 or so. But I wouldn't be, I would generally be saying that this one continues on with the uptrend. Again, be aware of those sort of meetings and everything, because they will drive price action, and that does matter more than structure right now. Those are like really, really big deals. And again, Liquidity Zone is issuing their next issue free, which I think is actually maybe out today already. So you can check that out on the app, of course. So we got more free stuff on the app, actually. That's good. Okay, cool. Nick says, hey, Krown, hope you're having a good day. Thanks, man. I hope you're having a good day too. Can you please check out Ethereum USD on the 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily? Yeah, we already pretty much just went through it. Did I go through all of the timeframes that you're looking for? Maybe we can go through an hourly, because we didn't look at that one. Hourly looks like another higher low right here. It's actually okay. I'd still be looking for general sideways on the short-term timeframes, probably most of today if I had to guess. And then if this one does want to continue up, I'd be looking at Bitcoin for direction, and I don't think it happens today. Maybe Wednesday or Thursday would be your continuation drive. But for right now, sideways in a range between about 2100 and about 2300 to the upside. Rather large range, as you would expect, because this market is starting to pour in a bit of volatility here. He-Ho says, could you please take a look at TLM on the daily? Okay. I'm guessing this is a stonk, or no, it might be this thing over here, because we are on a cryptocurrency channel and people probably asking about this bullshit. And it's actually not so bad, so maybe I shouldn't call it a bullshit. Nope, it's pretty fucking bad. Looked at the higher term time frame, shouldn't have done that. That's terrible. That's absolute garbage. Can you look at TLM on the daily? Well, if I looked at it on the hourly, it would be okay. It'd be okay, man. I do think it will pop back up somewhere around about 31 and a half cent or so. 4 hour. Yeah, same thing, just kind of carrying on with the uptrend. Daily, however, it's just another shitcoin, realistically. I don't really have too much to be going off of right here, actually, just because this one is a bit sloppy. Now, you do have a reversal on the daily. Volume signature is supportive of a change of behavior, so that is generally good. You also do have bearish divergence right there. I think you've played out the majority of that. If it wants to have another downside move, I'd be looking somewhere in low 20 cent, like 22 to 23 cent or so. But it probably does push through. I mean, the rest of the market kind of lean this one in as well. Weekly says the same thing. Next sort of upside targets, basically after breaking the current highs of this one, I don't really have like a good way of doing this right here, just because it's floppy altcoin. But I'd be looking at a retest or of somewhere around like low 40 cent, maybe upper 30s, like somewhere right around actually 40 cent. Yeah, would look okay. And the volume signature does suggest that we probably do something like that, to be fair. But I am splitting hairs there, and I never really feel all that confident on altcoins. I always kind of have to default to the general saying, which is Bitcoin's going to lead direction. This one will follow actually decently well, it looks like. Okay, cool. Aaron Depp says, top of the morning to you, sir. Oh, you must be Irish. Nice. We got some Irish people here. That's good. Caretaker's Irish as well. And they're good people, man. They're very, very good people. Very friendly as well, which is good. And also, anytime that I've been traveling, I've met an Irish person, they've always been like super chill. Same thing with Australians actually too. Although I hear that if you go to Australia itself, different story. So keep that in mind. Thoughts on FTT charts. Also thoughts on FTX's partnerships, overhyped, or it's like BNB for Binance when it was $4 and I said I missed it. I don't know, man. I'm not a fundamental analyst. I don't fucking know. I don't even know their partnerships. But if you're talking about like their, the fact that they bought out like the rights to the Miami Heat's, what is it? Their arena, and then also apparently they've been getting their names on like esports teams and also in Major League Baseball. I mean, I think that that's generally a good thing, right? They are they make all of the right decisions, and they're looked at right now. More importantly, like the general disposition of, people within this market is like FTX are the good guys. And to be fair, they kind of are. I mean, they told you that they're buying big time at $30,000 and they they were right about that. Now contrast that with some other big influencers, whether they're like liquidity providers or market making firms or just sort of some sort of quant firm. A lot of the time they're not maybe at either they're very bad at what they do, or they're not as truthful with what they're actually doing. And you can probably you can probably think of some examples, but FTX does have a good track record with that. Sam is a very likable guy. He says the right things. He's I've spoken with him myself actually. We actually had an interview together one time on Cointelegraph that never got posted because it's so fucking funny, man. He's a billionaire, but he can't figure out fucking microphones. So fair enough, man. He's a very likable guy though, and I actually just learned he's only 29 and he's a billionaire. Like that's got to be a record, right? That's insane. That's fucking insane, man. What do you even do with $1 billion? I don't know. Anyways, you want to look at FTT? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, cool. I guess you want to look at it versus US dollar most likely, and let's see it right on exchange. Not my favorite chart right now, actually. I really wanted to see it do the same thing as CME, where it did close above the 55 in this case. It actually got rejected right there. And that is a lower high on the daily too. That would be, if you want a bearish case, you're looking at a lot of altcoins right here. Same thing on the 4 hour too. Yeah, probably is going to put in some divergence there, but I mean, if you want to play the range is 30 spots 8 all the way down to basically where we're at right now. Start to lose a 200 in this case. I'd be looking for this one to cough up the whole rally actually and come back down at 24. The more and more that I look at altcoins, the more concern I'm getting with this market. Maybe we actually just saw the bull trap. It's possible. I still think it's a little bit less likely, and I would default to Bitcoin when in doubt. That's always been my mantra, and it's been mostly right for Bitcoin. But both altcoins are not joining in on this, which can be looked at both ways. But yeah, when I look at the weekly right here, I do think it'll push through overall. I mean, if this thing does lose even the lower term time frame area, this is gonna get absolutely fucking wrecked, man. This is gonna be your continuation move to the downside. That'd be fucking filthy. But fair enough. Let's see what Momentum Loss to say. Yeah, wow. Okay, so here's what I'd say about FTT and a lot of altcoins in general. On the daily, actually hidden bearish divergence will be possible here if we do confirm a close here or lower. So I would be cognizant of that. I would feel very comfortable, extremely comfortable getting bearish on this one, looking for another run at the lows here. If this one closed below about 28.5 bucks, so keep that in mind. It's a long day left to go, 17 hours and 54 minutes and 6 seconds to be exact, but give it some time. Again, Bitcoin's gonna decide direction. But if I'm just looking at that one, it ain't fucking good. It ain't fucking good. But yeah, as far as my thoughts on FTX, I really like them. And Sam Trabucco seems like a really good guy as well. Gives some pretty damn good interviews. And those guys seem they seem rather truthful actually, and they look like they want to do the right things. And I really respect these exchanges who are making the effort before regulations force them to comply with what they're eventually going to have to comply with anyways if they want to stick around, which is doing the whole KYC and everything. I know that that's not going to be a popular statement, especially in a cryptocurrency community, but look, that's when you evolve and when you mature, you can expect the same sort of shit as traditional markets. For better or worse, I think it's it's just a natural evolution of this game, and it shows that this is getting legitimized, which is probably better. At least in my opinion. I don't think cryptocurrency is ever going to truly take over the world. I think that's ridiculous and a very, very naive statement, because you got to think about okay, first off, do you think any of the major powers within this world, whether that be the U.S., China, or Europe, or European Union, are they just gonna let that go all through willy-nilly? No, they want what it's probably gonna be is it's probably gonna be like a CBDC, which is what you're gonna transact with every day, and it's probably only gonna be one at some point too. It's probably gonna be the US dollar if I had to guess, maybe the Chinese yuan, and if that fails, and then Europe will probably take over. And then you'll have your savings account or your assets stored in probably some Bitcoin or the equivalent, other apps and platforms, whatever the fuck it might be. In the same way that you store your wealth in gold as well, but gold's a much more mature asset, so it doesn't move as much, and that's what you can probably expect from Bitcoin over time too. But the thing is, Bitcoin's extremely mature still on the the greatest scale of things, right? I mean, Bitcoin's Bitcoin's $1 trillion asset, gold's 10 trillion, and it doesn't do shit. I mean, it does do a few things. I understand that it's used for some processes, but just to give you an idea, it's just Bitcoin's got a long way to go. So until then, this market's gonna be heavily volatile, and we're gonna see all sorts of crazy shit, I imagine. So yeah. Wendell Lambo says, can you check out Chain X, PCX on KuCoin? Okay. X. See, Chain X. Okay. What time frame, sir? The Finland for the win, half finish. Hey, nice one. All right, good choice for the city and lady. Yeah, it is, man. It is. I absolutely love Finland. I love living here, man. Anyways, you didn't give me a time frame for this one, and I can already see that on the higher term time frame is going to hate it. So let's see. Is the daily ready for a bit of a bounce? I mean, this one's barely joining in on the fun. I do think that the upside is rather limited on this one. If things really get crazy, I'd be looking for a move back up to about 380 on a daily, but I don't know what time frame you're going off of. Daily RSI is fine. A lot of drives of phantom div over there, so it probably does work its way up. It looks like it is good for reversal. I mean, it's just had so many chances to break low and it hasn't. Usually a decent sign right there. 4 hours putting in a bit of a reversal too. Short-term time frame is probably targeting like 340, 345 or 350, whatever the fuck it is. Again, easier to watch Bitcoin for direction, but keep in mind this is your real chart here, and it's a hard chart to love. It is just a generational downtrend, so I don't if things get really fucking crazy, which I don't think that they're going to, I'd say max it does to the upside is like 730. What's probably more realistic is like $4.5. And then reassess from there. I don't know anything after that. DCS. Oh man, you play DCS. Do you do it with the VR settings? Because man, that looks so fucking cool. I'm gonna do some Microsoft Flight Simulator today too, and they just got their new update, I believe, and also some Doom. Man, I'm so fucking excited. But with the VR, man, it's just a completely different experience, and I haven't been able to get it to work with DCS actually. So I like your opinion on that. Anyways, I'll answer your question, or at least I'll do my best job to try to. Your action is on Hexgraphs. Check it out. Really, Hexgraphs, check it out. How does that even work? Hex, is that a thing? Hex, do I just type it on Google? Oh, it is a thing. Insightful. Oh god damn it, they're accusing me as a fucking testimonial. Wait, hey, I don't consent to this. What the fuck? Oh my god, I'm gonna get absolutely hammered for that. Wait, what? Hold on. There's some questionable things here. Ask not what Hex can do for you, ask what you can do for Hex. Is this real? Person of the year. Time. Person of the year. 0 success. This looks like it might be photoshopped. What is going on here, man? Okay. Hex. It's actually kind of funny, man. What the fuck? What is going on here, man? All right, I think I've done enough beating up the drums right there. God damn, man, I don't want to be used for promotional material because I really don't know anything about Hex. I've actually spoken with Richard. I actually like Richard Art, man. I spoke with him on channel about like a year or two ago. Now this is not an endorsement of Hex. I don't endorse any altcoins. I don't trade altcoins. I don't hold altcoins. I just don't. It's not who I am. I'm not interested in it. But actually, Richard Hart is a person. He's extremely fucking intelligent. And you know, I know that people have all sorts of thoughts on him. I'm not fucking commenting on that. But just as a person, man, he's actually pretty interesting to talk to just because he's very, very sharp, very fucking sharp. Zane Storm says, hey bro, sorry, but I said Ethereum USDT. Oh, you're talking about Ethereum versus True. Okay, so next time you say this is what you're looking for right here is what I'm guessing. Okay, we can look at this. What the fuck? Hold on. There we go. Looks like shit, man. Looks like shit, unfortunately. Looks like you just put in a high. Could this be a higher low? Could be a higher low right here. That idea gets absolutely fucking demolished the second that you come back down below yesterday's low, which is 772.82. Anywhere below this thing goes for the full retrace back down to like 5,000, whatever the hell this is. But until then, you can run with the assumption that maybe it is a higher low. That'd be the hopium. Momentum also does actually support that, so that'd be good. So yeah, it's probably actually worth playing the trend in this case. Very easy to manage on this one. Might be, you know, might not be uncomfortable, or sorry, might not be comfortable risk, but I'd generally be looking for this one to pop back up towards like 9,600. Breakout's going to be above this prior high right here and probably go for a little bit of a run. Looks like it really doesn't trade too much, man. So, you know, you play these sort of things at your own peril, but you probably know that. So fair enough. Hopefully that was helpful, man. But yeah, just to make sure, like next time, if there is a next time, by the way, all you have to say is just WETH true, because if you do it the other way, then it's not going to actually make sense, I don't believe. 11 says, hey Krown, do you think looking at the total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin can give a better picture of whether or not the bull trap is in? No, because the bull trap happens on Bitcoin too, right? We can look at it and we can just see, you know, where it's at right now. No doubt about that. Okay, so what I said, nah, not really giving me too much right here. This wouldn't really be considered a bull trap either. I mean, we didn't really even get like an uptrend on even a daily. I mean, to be fair, like you can't have a bull trap in a downtrend. That's the whole, that's what makes it trappy, is that you have a move that's counter to the trend, and then it immediately gets reversed. No, if anything, this one kind of makes me a little bit more confirmed in my prior thoughts that altcoins very likely will follow Bitcoin here. They're just going to be sluggish as hell and probably not going to benefit as much. So I disagree with that, because you're also, again, you're going to see the bull trap on Bitcoin if it's going to happen. It's not like Bitcoin's not going to bull trap but just goes down and then altcoins just go down. It's probably going to, if anything, it would probably be Bitcoin showing a bull trap because it actually has had a pretty nice move here, and then altcoins just continue with their lower highs, just lower and lower. That would probably be more likely in my opinion. Okay, all right. Justin Tommy X says, tell Krown Aussies are very chill in places like QLD, Melbourne, Perth. I also have a really good friend from, what's it called? Brisbane. He says it's like a bogan. I don't even know what that is, but apparently it's like a derogatory term. Anyways, everywhere but Sydney, lots of rushing around in road rage. Yeah, man, it's big city life right there. Wendell Lambo says, you didn't read my whole message. I did. Yeah, I did. Can you check out Chain X PCX? Yeah, we looked at PCX, sir. And then he said Finland for the win, half finished. Good choice for City and Lady. I agree. I totally agree on that. There he is, Faraz. What's up, man? Still getting PTSD from last night's Doom session. That was some good fun, man. That was some really good fun. I don't know if we'll be able to do it today. I actually have a phone call at the same time when I typically like to stream. Maybe I can figure out a time like earlier or later, but I'd love to get, man, that definitely Wednesday. No doubt about that. Definitely fucking Wednesday. But goddamn, man, that game is just, it's just a pure adrenaline rush. So good, man. So fucking good. All right, let's get into some regular comments right here now that we are through all of this. DCS is crazy. You need to study to. Yeah, it's like it's a true simulation, man. It's very, very difficult. Same thing with Microsoft Flight Simulator as well, but you can also put it on like very low difficulty settings, so it's good for me. It's good for me too. Let's see. What else we got? Mr. T says boo cake in the face. Hexagon's getting the boo cake in the face. Whoa, man. Okay, well, I don't know if I don't think it's appropriate to say that just yet on Hex. We can go back to it right here and do a better analysis on it. It is breaking down, yes, but this is not even a downturn on the daily just yet. On whether you're bullish or bearish, even on the 12-hour, it's really only lower term time frames for right now. So it's not wise to call this a full-on reversal just yet. It's possible, yes, but I wouldn't be willing to call it until we get a daily downtrend. In this case, where's our daily downtrend? I'm actually hard on this one because your real last higher low is actually way over here, so it's not happening anytime soon. S1's still going to have a chance. It's going to bounce around and shit like that too. But I do stick with what I said earlier, that this is going to be the high for now. And at best it goes sideways for a while. And then maybe like, I don't know, a few months later, it might try for another upside move. If not, then full on reversal, maybe in August, and then comes back down, 5 cents, maybe even lower than that. But for right now, it's kind of like you've had the easy trades on it. It's going to be sideways, kind of similar to Bitcoin at its highs. It's like it's going to go sideways for a while, whether you're bullish or bearish. And then kind of decide itself a little bit later. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, man. I can already feel it in my plums, man. There's gonna be Hexkins who are just gonna be absolutely fucking disparaging me. And I just want to remind you, hey man, I was also calling a lot of upside moves on that one in the not so distant past. So give me a fucking break over here. It hurts my feelings too. How's the weather in Finland? It hasn't rained in north of England for over a week. Weird. Is that common in the summer there? It's actually been a kind of a heat wave here. It's about 30 degrees Celsius at all hours of the day. Elsa says, I am a virgin. That's right. And me too. Let's see. Oh, really? Okay. I see. Does Finland have the most promiscuous girls? Maybe. Let's see. Anything interesting with the Gaussian channel? Yeah, we can follow up on that today too. Let's put it back on this chart right here. Boom and whoops. Hey, stop that. Oops, get that away right there. Boom and boom. Yes, so we did close above the median band. We actually already tested the top side of the band already, so kind of already had the easy move on that. That was our target from yesterday. However, you can use the median band as a basing point, and guess where that's coming in? $36,000 as well. So several points confluence right around 36, or even just a slight amount below it. As long as we're above there, I do give it the benefit of the doubt. But the next sort of thing that you're looking for, if you are playing the Gaussian channel, is you're looking for this to level out and then get a neutral and then positive slope. If you get that, that's going to suggest that we probably do, put in a move towards like mid, maybe even deep $40,000 territory. So again, I don't think this is happening all in one day. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen over the next couple of weeks, most likely. Looking at is there anything on the 3-day? We just barely closed outside the 3-day bottom side of it. Not going to really do anything. What about the 2-day? This one's closing tonight, and it could technically close above it. Above the bottom side, which would be 38,200. So it's going to have a chance. The 5-day is not closing today, but this one's going to have a chance to close above the medium band as well. And same sort of thing here. That would imply targets up to the top side, which is going to be rapidly rising. Looks, if you're just kind of visualizing it, probably somewhere around $45,000. Which, hey, that would be my next sort of target to the upside on a continuation move. So, fair enough. Not bad. Actually, did we have bullish evidence here? Hey, hold on. About that. No, we did not. Not even close. Only up to a 3-day, which is not a low time frame by any stretch of the imagination anyways, but fair enough. Anyways, let's put this one back off here. Okay, all right. It's burn the rainforest. Oh dear lord, man, you're still alive. Holy shit, you survived this long, so apparently your strategy's been working, man. Can you look at OCGN, short medium term, please, brother Krown? Sure, man, I'll try. Where did our priest man go in this community? Hopefully he didn't get too wrecked. Nasdaq, this thing. Talking about this thing, or are you talking about cryptocurrencies? Man, why do you want to play some bullshit like this? There are so many very easy to play stocks in traditional markets, man. You don't need to play a piece of shit like this. It's probably putting in higher lows here, man, but I don't trust shit like this. If I had to call it, I'd say 9.25. I don't feel confident with that. I do not feel confident with that. BNB, yeah, we can look at BNB. We can look at BNB. Let's see what BNB's got. Show me what you have gotten on BNB. Oh, I thought Elsa was talking to me. She's talking fucking Finnish. Looking at daily right here. These are very sloppy, yes, but I do suspect that this, closing above the 21 in this case, and also baiting that cross between the 21 and 200, and also catching the 10 symbol on the downside wick right there, very likely does put in a base and does work its way back up to about 325, 326 region. Still lower highs as long as you're below about 330, but again, if Bitcoin leads the way up, this one's going to follow. Not going to be relatively strong. It's probably going to be a little bit more on the relatively weak side, but these are just sloppy as all hell charts. Where do you lose your 4-hour uptrend? Below about 295, below there, bad. I'd be looking for a move back down to about 270, 265 region. Coinbase stock, yeah, let's look at it. Sinegra, look at that one. You talking to me? What's up, Jeff? Where's my coin? There we go, 245. Yeah, okay, nice one. We do have a higher low, I think, for the first time ever. For the first time ever on Coinbase, we have a higher low on the daily. Hey, not bad. Not bad. Ditch us around the prior range highs. Yes, that would be your next major area right here. I mean, it's still range bound similar to Bitcoin, right? That's definitely not going to work right there, and I don't even know what the fuck I still have it in there. Daily RSI says upside continues a little bit more, but I need to see above this level right here, let's call it 255 before the next sort of like decent move. And next decent move, I'd be looking for a move back up towards this prior breakdown area just below $300. But it's pretty much right at the reference price right now that it listed at 250 or so. Or it didn't list out there, but it was a reference price. So, probably does, kind of makes sense that it's being staked around here. Okay. What's up, Hot Pocket? Hello, Krown. Can you look at Evergrande on Hong Kong Exchange? Do you have a ticker? Evergrande. Okay. Bunch of threes. Let me take a sip of this water. Oh, fucking hell. I need some water for this one. All right, there we go. Looks like shit, man. Looks like, wow, it even looks worse than shit when I go to the higher term timeframes. This is definitely free fall, man. I agree with you. Weekly Death Cross got this one absolutely perfectly. Retest 55, and down you go, you piece of garbage. Maybe bounce to like 470, 480 region. This one's pretty damn beat up here. Oh, goddamn. I'm guessing something fundamentally wrong happened with this thing. This is just a full melt. Absolute fucking melt right there. Absolute fucking melt. You want to look at sand? All right, we can look at some shitcoins. Sure, why not? Sand derp over here. Let's see what we got. You're looking at Sand USD. Is that right? Let's see what we got right here. Actually pretty fucking good, man. Actually pretty fucking good. Actually pretty fucking good, in fact. This one, not bad. Not bad. I'm actually rather impressed with this one. I mean, just continues on with the uptrend. I'd be looking for it to kind of just stair up its way up, but you got higher lows as long as you're above about 54 cents. I think this one goes sideways and up from here, but hitting bullish evidence on the left slow, not bad. Weekly's, more or less fine. I don't know if it's ready to like continue with trend to the upside from this exact moment, but overall, I do like it. One of the better altcoin charts we've seen today, in fact. Rather impressive. Rather impressive, sir. We got Legend LEZs, Blackstone, good long-term entry. God damn it, man. Blackstone. See what we got here. I can't get it. What's ticker? What's the ticker, sir? What's the fucking ticker? Blackstone. Can I type it? BX. This one? You looking at this one, or are you looking at this one? Come on, Legend LEs, tell me. Tell me what it is, sir. I will await your response, sir. Await your response. I'm not sure exactly which one you're looking at here. I'm gonna guess you're probably looking at this one. Black like my skin. Nice. What's up, Boogie? Oh, powerful as fuck, man. Is this a good long-term entry? I mean, you are buying an uptrend, but good long-term entry was like out of this base over here, man. It depends what you're trying to do, man. It depends what you're trying to do. I probably wouldn't right here. Oh, we got Flying Dog incoming. Hold on. Let's see. This one is Lucky. He's going to bounce his way in. Little fluff ball of cuteness as he kisses the camera. Hey, get your little dog. Why is he humping me? Disgusting. Yeah, this one's pretty fucking powerful right here. I mean, if you're looking for the long-term play, you got to catch it over here, in my opinion. You either buy the lows or you buy the breakout. You don't buy the move itself, in my opinion. It's just like, where do you manage risk on this if it goes wrong against you? There's no good area on a weekly. I mean, if you're playing a daily, your area is going to be like $100, but it wouldn't be that meaningful right there. If you're looking for the long-term play, I think you look for the next best opportunity. You don't look at this one, because this one's mostly been had, and should have been paying attention to this one like way back on over here in December 2020 or March 2020. Those were the two major opportunities on that one. In my opinion, I mean, you could, if you're trading this one, if you're just looking for a trade, yeah, I think it goes higher from here. I don't have any targets for this one. It's just in pump mode right now. It's in price discovery, you might say. Dan says, great energy, killing it. Fuck yeah, man. Let's do it, baby. Got a full night of sleep last night, so it's all good, sir. It's all good in the hood. Still need to get a call from my doctor to tell me if I have cancer or not, so that'd be good to know as well. Can we actually call the fucking doctor or what? Anyways, Creamy SD, 1 day, 1 day 4? Oh, 1 day and 4 hour. Oh, do we have we got doggy humping coming back. Okay, I've actually seen this dog fuck a Winnie the Pooh toy more times than any rational person should ever look at in their life. Okay, get that little doggy dick off my head, please, sir. Oh my fucking god. Disgusting. Bitcoin Boogie says 1,200 people and only 400 likes. WTF? It actually would be very much appreciated if you do like this video. It does quite literally help. But yeah, Creamy USD. What we got here? Creamy USD. I guess Polonius is probably gonna have the most history on this one. This is the most ancient exchange, and you're looking at a daily and 4 hour. Okay, daily, steps its way up. It's I mean, it's okay. It's okay, but its next move to the downside, it really doesn't trade too much here, it looks like. I'd probably be looking for another test of this region right here. Can't hate it as long as it has higher lows. Last higher low is 146. As long as you're above there, I'm generally gonna, look for a continuation, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I never trust altcoins like this, man. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing just absolutely fucking drop out the lows and pop back down to like 135. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one, man, to be honest with you. Here's the obvious trades. The obvious trades are above range highs at 183, 185 region. Can start to target a move back up towards the last breakdown about 230. And then the next obvious trade to the low side is actually taking out that 150 low right here, and very likely comes back down to about 125, 130 region. Those are the easy trades in my opinion. Right now it's just consolidating. Okay. Dent USD. You're talking about dental coin epidemic? Okay, we can look at Dent Derp coin. Dent USD. Is this it? Is this what I'm thinking of? I remember when this one was really fucking popular way back in the day. Let me see if this is the one that I'm thinking of. Do we have history back to 2017? Nope, we don't. It's not the one that I'm thinking of. Looks like every other pump and dump. Is he getting ready for another upside move? This one actually looks like it's playing a little bit better with Bitcoin, to be fair. I'd be looking for a move back up to about, 2.5 cents. It's not much, man. It's not much, but hard to hate as long as you got the higher lows above 0.2 cents right there. Hey, good morning to you, Jerry on. Good morning to you. Luna USD on Binance on medium time frame, says Minor Jones. We can look at that. Luna USD. Let's look at this one right here. Looking at medium term time frames, let's see, maybe a 12-hour or daily will get that for us. Yeah, popping above the range highs. Good. This one's relatively strong. Higher low right here. I'm imagining that's already on the daily. Yes, indeed it is. So this one's actually, I'd say this one's relatively strong. In fact, yeah, yesterday closed as a nice rejection, but above on major moving averages. I'd be looking for this one to trade sideways and up, back up to $10. Looks good. Looks good. I wish actual dog breeds had charts. Today, French bulldogs are outpacing golden retrievers. That would never happen, man. Golden retrievers would be moonshotting. Those are the best dogs, man. I had a golden retriever when I was a kid. Its name was Goldie. Actually, his name was fucking Goldie. Very creative name, right? Anyways, let's see. What else do we have over here? I'm gonna try to read a few more, and then maybe we might have a bit of an earlier stream today. Tetherfud fam, thoughts, says Rocky G. Yeah, it's always concerning when there's like legitimate concerns with Tether. I mean, it's not just like speculation by a non-Twitter account. It's it's like the Department of Justice and the New York Attorney General, which actually did get resolved, not necessarily in their favor, to be fair, but what was I going to say with that? It's always concerning, yes, but ever since I jumped into this market in 2016, 2017, I've always been hearing about Tether issues, and nothing's ever come of it. Now, I do suspect. Look, if everyone needed to rush to the exit and get into Tether or use Tether for whatever reason, would they actually have enough, backed in their reserve that is liquid? Probably not, if I had to guess, but I don't fucking know, man, and I shouldn't speculate on that because I have no way of knowing. I can't look into their accountings, and I wouldn't even know what to look for to begin with. So I don't fucking know, man. Let's see. Let's see. Doug says, let's get the like button to new all-time high. Thanks for hey, I appreciate that, man. Very much thank you for that. It is very much appreciated, sir. Sweetwater says, have you ever done a juice cleanse? No. I've been peeing out the back like a flock of 1,000 ancient sparrows, but I feel great. You know the Finnish saying, sir. You know them. Shitting like a flock of sparrows. Yes. Yeah, man, I figure, if you're just going to drink juice, then it's just going to wash right through you, of course, man. I probably could do that right now, though, man. I need to get a nice big old dumbola out of myself in order to feel good again. Rosario Mezzetti, definitely Italian. Definitely fucking Italian. Can you check out POWW? This thing has been dumping since earnings. All right. This thing right here, ammo. All right. Pow. All right. Let's check it out. Dumping since earnings. Yes. And I expect it's going to dump a little bit more. It is still in a macro uptrend, so you do have to respect that. And whoa, but we do have a holy fucking shit terrible chart long term. Absolutely dastardly chart long term. I do think it's going to dump a little bit more, probably down about $7 even. Probably tries to bounce there. We have potential hidden bullish evidence possible there. Yeah, we will. I'd want to see a bounce at $7 and then move back above 786. If that happens, I'd still say that this is generally good, short and medium term. Anywhere below 680, last week's low, and I'd say that this one falls apart. You got your official downtrend. You got a lower high right there. You officially make lower lows. I'd be looking for a move down to 550. So very, very short term, a little bit of extension of the dump. I'd try to look for a higher low around there on first pass. If that fails, then this one fails in general. Long term, this is a chart only a mother could love. Is POW ammo Larry the detailer? I don't know. Hey, what's up, nice kitty? Meow to you, sir. We also represent doggies here as well. So, like whenever you talk about a cat, people with dogs get mad, and whenever you talk about dogs, people with cats get mad. It's weird. Juice in, juice out. Exactly, Jev. AMP already had its rumor. Do you want to check out AMP? We can look at AMP really, really quickly here. Oopsies, almost wrecked my trading view right there. Let's see, how's this one still doing? I know it had its run early July. Still okay on the monthly. Holy shit, that is the rejection from hell. But when you go down to a daily, and I'm sure like the lower term timeframes as well, yeah, it's not necessarily the same thing. Look, this one can come back down to like 5.5 cents. I wouldn't say that's problematic. Below 5.5 cents, yes, you got a problem here, but that's that's the risk that you have when you play with altcoins that move like crazy like this. It's kind of the same thing as Bitcoin. I'd be looking for general sideways again, as long as it doesn't crack below about 5.25. Okay, I guess. Still holds the uptrend, but goddamn, man, that is a massive range right there. Very difficult to Very, very difficult to trade that. Hey, what's up, Justin Young? Hi, Krown. Big hello from Hong Kong. Holy shit, you're from Hong Kong? My God, man. I've always heard really good things about Hong Kong. Like people say, and tell me if this is true, man. I don't know if you're like you're literally from Hong Kong or not. But is Hong Kong and mainland China are like not considered the same thing at all, like at fucking all. That's what I've heard. I've heard that like even people from Hong Kong look down at people from mainland China. My friend was telling me a funny story of like how people from mainland China and like the rural parts, like for whatever reason, how do I even explain this? This is gonna come off as like fucking racist, but it's not. I'm just relaying a story that I heard. But like people from mainland China and like maybe rural areas, probably when they have like a kid, the kid, they don't have like toilets or something, or maybe they do have toilets but they don't care, and then they just have like little fucking flaps to open up your little boy bunghole and then drop deuces like when you're walking along the road or something. Is that true? Is that fucking true? I need to know, man. I need to know from someone with skin in the game there. I need to know if this is true or not, because I actually even looked it up, and there's apparently special pants made for children, of very small sizes, to, I guess, do that. Is that true? Is that true? I need to know, man. I need to know. Hong Kong. Yes, Hong Kong. Very good, man. Very fucking good. Taiwan, bro. There you go. Oh god, that's not a dog, that's a mouse. Yeah, that's exactly right, man. They're little ratties. They're cute ratties though. Can you look at Wan Chain? Is this Wan Chain or Wang Chain? You talk about this? Walton Chain or Wan Chain? I don't know what Wan Chain is. Wan Chain? This is, oh my god, it's a thing. It's our favorite crying cryptocurrency for all of your tears needed in this disgusting market. That probably pushes it way. It's way up here. Anywhere above yesterday's high, I'd look for this one to tag back up to like 60 cents, 62 cents or so. Again, only if you take out yesterday's high, but it's probably going to do that. I mean, these are all in bounce areas, it looks like to me. Risk is below about 50 cents or so. Let's see. And then you say, the guy on the internet confirmed that for me. That's exactly right. That's how I get all my information. Hey, I mean, what's the difference between a guy on the internet and a guy in real life? It's all the same thing. We're all people at the end of the day, right? Wan to the moon. I think the moon is, well, wherever the moon is, it's definitely not to the upside, if that's what you're saying on this thing. Bring back your Japanese mournful. I don't know if I have that, man. Taiwan is the part that held off the communists from the original China. That's why they are so hated. Interesting. I don't know any of the history from there, actually. I just know that if you say East 21st says, stop cussing. Okay. Well, I will, if you ever do a live stream, I will be sure to make some demands of you as well. Very fucking interesting comment to be saying. Just like, Jesus Christ, man. Hey, sir, just doing these streams. Sometimes when I'm doing it for like 2 hours, I have a bit of a lazy way of expressing myself. It's all that. It's very simple, sir. Meccan says Taiwan is barely realized as a country. The U.S. doesn't, but they still sell them guns. Well, it's all about the industrial military, the military-industrial complex, isn't it? BitBoy pumped AMP. I mean, it still looks okay, man. So perhaps there's more to it. Elsa is really up the doggo down. It's true. Very, very true. Is CHZ dead? Heading to hell. Let's check it out. I mean, maybe we can end the stream after this too. Seems like a little bit of a light day today, actually. CHC, Chili's, is it heading to hell? No, it looks like everything else here. It's going to follow whatever Bitcoin does. Here would be the obvious trade. If you see any sort of a closure above 26.5 on the daily, I'd look for this one to tag back up towards 15/16 of June highs right here. It's not as impressive, and it's certainly relatively weak on the lower term timeframes. I mean, this is very, very relatively weak, but I wouldn't necessarily get bearish on it, looking for a run back down towards the 20-cent lows until at the very least you close like a 4-hour dodo below about 24 cents even. If that happens, then yeah, pretty damn bad. Pretty damn bad. All right, what's up, Lucas DeGrasse? DeFi perp, please, sir. Okay, DeFi perp. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, so this is just a DeFi sector. Again, looks like a lot of the other charts that we've seen today, I give it the benefit of the doubt. Playing between the 21 and 55 here is completely fine, although these are massive wicks to the upside thus far. I'd say the same thing on this one as I do generally on most of the altcoins. Look, as long as you hold your prior low at 65, I give it the benefit of the doubt, mostly based off of Bitcoin. But if I'm just looking at this one, yeah, there's a lot of concerns with it. But as long as that holds, I'd look for a trade sideways and up. probably test back up towards this region right here. Anywhere above yesterday's high, I'd look for it to retest your early July highs. But other than that, you know, not the most obvious chart, not the most healthy chart either. Yeah, certainly not the most healthy chart here. I mean, this is literally like the fucking market cycle cheat sheet, parabolic blow off top, euphoric rally. Not good, man. But you know, that would be my criteria for looking for, you know, just general sideways and up. Again, probably easy to watch Bitcoin in this case. A lot of the levels are a lot more well documented there. Anya Roxy, hey, what's up, Anya? Or Anya, sorry, butchering your name right there. USA doesn't recognize Taiwan as a country. Really? Wait, really? Is that true? But if China dares to touch Taiwan, USA says there will be war. Okay, fair enough. The USA is a hell of a place. Colin hey, what's up, Colin McCann? There he is, just for kicks. Can you check out Walden Chain shirts? Sorry, man, it's been years. It's been years, but what is the old Walden Chain doing?
Walden Chain. Walden Chain looks like a sheet coin once again. Always down to the depths of hell.
Very bad, man. But if I'm looking at lower term time frames, look, if Bitcoin picks it up here, this one's going to pick it up as well. I mean, it's just relatively. This is such a piece of garbage, man. Such a fucking piece of garbage. Here's it on logarithmic scale. It's in a monthly downtrend. The funny thing is, you've actually never seen Bitcoin on a monthly downtrend. Even with all like the 70 to 80% pullbacks, crashes that you've seen in the history of it, this one actually has a literal monthly downtrend. Disgusting. Hidden bearish evidence played out pretty damn well right there. Probably getting ready for a bounce relatively soon, but again, gonna do whatever Bitcoin does, I imagine. USA needs to mind its own business. Well, I mean, if I understand it's a nuanced conversation. You know, if USA doesn't, it's like, who do you trust more? Do you trust the USA or China? Because one of them is gonna fucking take over the world. Who do you trust more? The USA has already used nukes on other people, but China also, you know, does some pretty despicable things, like humanitarianly speaking. Like they actually, you know, commit literal fucking genocide, ethnic cleansing, right? I mean, they're putting like this Muslim sect into some sort of like internment camps. Is that right? I believe I've seen that. Probably not a big fan of that. At least when the US does it, they try to hide it a little bit better. Not a fucking good excuse for it. You know, bad joke to be making, but yeah. Anyways, do you enjoy Finland over the States? I do, yes. I actually do like living in the United States. The one thing that I think that the USA has over just actually the rest of the world, really, that I've kind of been to, maybe less so than other first world countries like the United Kingdom that are relatively, you know, close to the USA, is like access to comfort and luxury. But I think that's a double-edged sword. I don't think it's a good idea to like never have to leave your actual apartment. You can always order Amazon delivered in like an hour or two. You can always order any creature comfort pretty much given to you the same day. And it's like, it just makes you lazy and weak. And if you do that for too long, it just makes you lazy, weak, and fat and stupid, in my opinion. In Finland, I really like it because there's a good balance here. You know, the quality of living is very, very high. The water quality is incredibly good. And there's a good focus on like general health here. And then also like, I don't have a car, so I always walk everywhere. And I think that's just, there's something that's not represented in your general health that can just be solved by having a fucking daily, hourly walk. I mean, you know, I truly believe that, man. I truly believe that. I love it, man. Yeah, Amazon Prime now, exactly. It's like, soon enough, man, it's just going to be teleported into your apartment. You know, you'll never have to lift a fucking finger. And that's not good, man. We're beasts of burden. Like, we need something to struggle against. Otherwise, you start to feel depressed because you have no real purpose in life. I mean, it doesn't even need to be anything like too crazy anyways. Like, all you have to do is just have something that you're working towards. But when everything's taken care of for you, you get a society, in my opinion, like the USA, where it's like everyone gets a first place trophy. We're all kind of coddled to death, and now we're very, very weak, in my opinion. You know, if you're asking my opinion about fucking General Biden, look, I'm not a Biden hater, I'm not a Biden lover. Same thing with Trump. Like, people are gonna hear me say this about Biden, and they're gonna be like, oh, so you like fucking Trump? No, I don't fucking like him. Like, Jesus Christ. But I think Biden is a perfect representation of, you know, of America right now. Old, frail, weak, and not lucid. You know, I don't care if you're a reasonable person. You can't look at someone like that speaking in the way that they do and making the decisions that they do and think that this is the best one that we had in a whole country of 350 million people. If you think that, I really want to know what the fuck you're smoking, because god damn it, man, I want some too. Like, what the fuck? Like, Jesus Christ, man, that guy. I should have voted for Kanye. I mean, look, like there wasn't any real good opportunities there, but you know, he was also not like good either. Or the Karen. Oh, you talking about Elizabeth Warren? I think Elizabeth Warren probably would have been better than him. At least she can talk. You might not agree with her policies. In fact, probably don't, but at least she can talk. Kevin Warwick says FTM used to T. Sure, man. All right, let's just stop talking about goddamn politics because that's going to piss even more people off, and I don't even feel all that. I don't even feel all that compelled by it, anyways. Daily here, same thing as a lot of the other charts. You know, I'm not a fan of these charts, but anywhere above yesterday's high, I'd be looking for this one to retest back up towards like just under 30 cents. Short-term time frames, as long as it holds the uptrend above about 19 cents, I still look for this one sideways and up, but I don't, you know, this is relatively weak by the fucking definition of it. If it loses the last higher low, I'd be looking for this one to retest the current lows and probably even trend. It would not be good, but give it the benefit of the doubt for right now. Again, easier to watch Bitcoin. Bitcoin shows a bit more strength. Only 10 countries recognize Taiwan. Man, those are 10 badass countries, I say. Michael Crook says, best time to short in Pennyland and best set up. I've never traded a penny stock, and is there a best setup? There's only a best setup for you and your strategy, which everyone's going to have different proclivities based upon their, you know, personal trading personalities, right? Like, I mean, I might think that, I have a great setup on like an hourly and I'm just looking to scalp it for like 5 fucking minutes or 10 minutes. And that's completely different than what would be the best setup for like someone who is, trading it on for the first part. If you know what the fuck you're doing, you don't trade goddamn penny stocks to begin with. But sorry, that's a bit of an aside, maybe not fully true, but that could also be completely obtuse to someone who's like more long-term oriented. Who's to say? I mean, there's multiple ways to skin a cat. Sorry, nice kitty, but I don't think that you can generally say that there is no best way to do anything. It's the best way for you based upon, your preferences as a trader and what you're looking to do. Anything other than that is like, it'd be me putting my opinion onto what a good trade should be. And it's just like, you have to realize that there's many, many different ways to do it. In fact, that's one of the biggest things that really disgusts me about crypto Twitter, is in that like people will disparage others for like their opinion or their trades, and it's like, you don't know why I took this trade, you don't know what I'm looking for, you don't know what my preferences are. And it's like people who are maximalists of anything, like people will be maximalists of this indicator, this strategy, that strategy. If you do that at the behest of like just talking down to other ones, it shows that this person really does not have much experience and doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. Because look, the more and more that I've been in this market, the more and more that I've been, having experience as a trader, the more and more I've realized you can make a lot of different things work. And to say otherwise is just wrong. It's factually fucking wrong, and you can prove that just by talking to, the multitude of successful traders out there. I mean, Jesus Christ, man, everyone has a goddamn different strategy to begin with. Ice32000 says, Krown, why is a hash ribbon signal relevant when 50% of miners were banned? I don't know, because it's been relevant the whole last 12 years and worked just about perfectly. That might be relevant. Miners normally shut off in bear markets. This is artificial. Oh, well, why did it work in the last few bear markets too? Sorry, man, I can't help myself, but think about that. Please think about that for a second. If it worked similarly in the last few bear markets, and you're saying that it shouldn't work now, what's different? There is no difference. And I've heard the same goddamn thing throughout, ever since I started paying attention to it. It's like, oh, well, this is happening because of this. Like, yeah, and the last time it happened too, remember 6,000 to 3,000? Oh, that's because of XYZ happened. That's because of the block wars or whatever the fuck. It's like, okay, so I don't know, still worked. Still worked. What about the ones before? Still worked as well. We already looked at the moon indicators. They're saying up, of course. It doesn't change for anytime soon. So there you go. Google didn't notify me today. Bad Google, says, but you can always trust on this, Sam Frignazi. You can always trust on this, man. I always do it at the same time, same place, same days as well, man. Sometimes I do a what's called, they shut off because China banned it, not because of price drop. Again, I've heard China. How many times have China banned? How many times have China banned? Think about it, man. Like you're obviously a smart enough person to get on the internet. Just think about it. What is different? There is very little difference. And even if it is, like the good old saying applies, this time is different. It's like, no, it just hasn't been, man. It just hasn't been. So no, I strongly disagree. I actually could not disagree more about something like that. Because what even is your implication anyways if that's not true? What is your implication if that's not true anyways? Are you saying that we're just going to pop up to $60,000 today because of that, or this week or next week? there's no way there's no way to even know the other side of it anyway. So it's like it's a statement that you can't prove and I can't prove either, but we can look at the historical relevancy of it. We can look at all the past examples, which have been more or less the same anyways, and I would disagree strongly, and I hopefully I'm doing that in a respectful way, sir. But I would strongly disagree with that. Anyways, Biz T says, howdy, Krown and Elsa. What's up, man? Luna used to T on the 4 hour daily. All right, we'll look at this one. This will be the last one for today, sir. Get Luna's Tunas. Friend had a dog in college named Luna. One of the worst behaved dogs I've ever seen in my life. No, I'm talking about Luna, sir, not you. Anyways, this one actually acting pretty damn well here. Very well behaving chart for an altcoin, that is. No, I'm talking about fucking cryptocurrencies right now, for the love of God. Elsa's girls are crazy, okay? Let me explain to you. Girls are fucking crazy. Are you talking about... No, I'm talking about Luna. Are you talking about me? No, I'm actually talking about Luna, cryptocurrency. All right, yeah, you know, it does have a higher low right here, even printed a higher high on a closing basis too. That is actually rather impressive for an altcoin. I'd say the same thing as I do on most other charts though. You know, I need to see this uptrend hold as long as it's above the 55 on the 4 hour, which is about $7.5, $7.60 or so. I generally look for this one to trade sideways and up. I don't know if it's gonna do it today, but if the second that it takes out yesterday's high, I'd look for a retest back around like 10, $11 or so. It'd look pretty damn good. Lena, not Luna. Oh, sorry, Lena. Okay, apologies on that one. Yeah. All right. There. Oh wow. There's. Oh, it's a shitcoin. It's a shitcoin, sir. Need to see it close above the 55 in this case. Need to see it close above 39 cents, and then yeah, it probably has a nice rally back up to like, I don't know, deep 40s. Is that sorry, that's not 40s. That's deep 4 cents, like 4.8, 4.6 to 4.8 region. Does have a higher low as well, actually, though. So they're actually not too far apart, but this one's definitely relatively weak compared to Luna. 4 hour uptrend ceases to exist below 3 cents. So sideways and up from here, as long as that condition is met. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it right there. Alrighty, sirs and sirs, I think that is going to do it for today. My voice is wrecked. We're about 2 hours into this. I need to call my doctor, figure out what the hell is going on with my bodies, and buy Luna instead. There you go. Yeah, Luna's probably a little bit better right there. I mean, the market's going to move together, right? But again, next, you know, I'm generally looking for sideways today. Can Bitcoin come back down, test around $36,000? Yes, absolutely. But I generally look for sideways and up over the next few days here. Again, as long as $36,000 does hold. If 36,000 breaks on a 4 hour time frame, specifically, then I would look for, at the very least, a retest back down at $34,000, and then something new probably happens from there. I would not feel too confident with the prior analysis if that was to happen, but for right now, a little bit of sideways within this market. I think we kind of have a bit of a cool-off day today if blue laws are going to pull through overall. And with that said, I want to wish you the best bets once again. Take care, and hopefully see you very soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it, burn it, pump it, hack it, quick rename